Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Gone are the days of wrestling with our favorite LJN wrestling figures, trying to convince them to stand up. What's a guy to do? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get on Etsy and look up 4 Left 3D Creations and get yourself these amazing custom LJN figure stands. There is a custom stand available for every single one of your LJN wrestling superstar figures. Make your display shine by grabbing these custom LJN stands from 4 Left 3D Creations today.
Okay, folks. Yes, hello. Tis Sunday. Tis the Power Hour. And by this time next week, we'll be, it'll be Sunday. What are we going to be? We'll probably be, we'll be day two and a half of the vacation. Should be good. Before we get into Power Hour, what do I have to talk about? I've made some changes to the room a little bit. The television backdrop that was once VHS tapes galore is going to be Nintendo games galore, because the Nintendo is just picking up so much steam in this house. For me, anyways, it's been great. So we're going to continue to play Nintendo and then showcase them a little bit better. Once upon a time, they had 2 of their own bookshelves, so every single game was out front and center. I'm going to adjust this camera a minute. I don't like the Nintendo games being, one behind the other or anything like that. Let's see. How's that? That better? Probably not. Probably worse. Anyway, I don't like things behind other things, right? I like everything to be showcased front and center. So we're going to do that with the Nintendo wall. This week is regularly scheduled programming all week, and then some vacation programming. We'll do it like an extra, I'll record an extra LJN Revisited show. Somebody suggests I do a couple power hours. I'll do a couple shorter power hours, maybe 15-minute power hours. I'll talk about the upcoming chapters of the book. I think I finished chapter 1, like rough draft finished. I will go back and add stuff as I think. But chapter 1's only four like 3.5 pages. So we're going to have a lot of chapters, I think. I'd like it to be like 150, 170 pages. So we're going to have to have a lot of chapters, or I'm going to have to write more. What else? I don't know. That's about it. Let's do the Power Hour. Everybody who's asked questions that I have, I will answer when I'm gone. So I'm gonna use all your questions that you've asked. I'll be using them for filler footage when I'm gone. I'm excited about the trip. I was worried that the trip wasn't going to happen because of my throat illness and the accompanying anxiety. But thankfully, I have been good the last couple of months, and I'm not going to eat anything risky this week. It's all going to be like chicken and rice and nothing that could potentially cause me any swelling, because the swelling leads to the anxiety leads to shut down. I don't want to go to Florida. Life is dreadful. Hide under a blanket. So is that it before we get into the Power Hour? I think so. All right, let's go. Blue Bonnet, my friend Blue Bonnet. That's butter. That's a butter brand or a margarine brand of the 80s. Blue Bonnet. I'm pretty sure. In fact, I know I'm sure. Blue Bonnet was butter of the 80s. And I don't know if they still make Blue Bonnet, but my grandmother bought Blue Bonnet butter. Yeah. They say, what would your perfect day look like? Where would you go? Who would you go with? What would you do? And then they said, past and present. So talk about it in current times, and what would I do back then? Presently, my perfect day, where would I go? I don't know. That's kind of a tough one as you get older. Because if I had a day where I could do anything I wanted and go anywhere with anyone I wanted, I'd probably go nowhere with me. I would probably take me nowhere. Yeah, honestly. Honestly, again, as you get older, I don't want to go to a concert. I don't want to go to the Super Bowl. I don't want to go to WrestleMania. Nah, back when I had like no food restrictions and no beverage restrictions, the Niagara Falls Comic Con was a pretty perfect day. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes away. They have a great hotel bar. They have a great little restaurant right there. Super comfortable room. I would just go there by myself and have a blast. Do the Comic Con thing, and then go back to the hotel room and hang out there. That was always great. But honestly, today with exhaustion and with work and with the children constantly right here, by myself doing nothing is a pretty perfect day. I set up this Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning, I like to get up. I like to watch cartoons. I'm working on Rambo, and I'm working on the pup named Scooby-Doo. And as I'm, kind of rolling around on the couch, shaking off the old cobwebs, I hear the feet coming down the stairs, boom, 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 which you've heard. Both children just walking up on me at like 8:05 because it's time to play Fortnite, because they only play on the weekends, and there was a big season release this morning. So them and their two buddies are just hammering away at it 8 o'clock this morning, dominating both TVs downstairs. If I go upstairs, there's a potential that as soon as I turn on the TV, there's a potential that it kicks Finley off his PlayStation, because our internet and Wi-Fi is just garbage. So nobody risks turning on the upstairs TV, the bedroom TVs. My TV down here, yeah, sure, of course I could come down here. But I unhooked the DVD player I didn't get a chance to be by myself. I just want to lay around and watch TV, take a few naps. That's my perfect day, to be honest with you. Now, in the past, if I could go back in time, I think that's what you meant. Honestly, perfect days back then were sleepovers, with the old childhood best pal. Those were very special. Saturday nights, main event nights were very special back then. Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was the most special day of the year. And I think there's a question somewhere in here about, if you could relive a day of the year. But I'll find it. Yeah. Blue Bonnet also says, has life played out the way you thought it would? Yeah, no, because I didn't think that it would. I didn't think it would. And that's weird to say, but when I look at the stuff that I have now, the existence that I have now, I remember there being a time when I didn't think that this was going to happen. What do I mean by that? I remember being about 18, 19 years old. And, I was living at my grandparents' house, and I don't think I was dating anyone at the time. And, I was working in the malls, and I didn't really have like any, I found it pretty hard to imagine. And I guess maybe a lot of 19-year-olds do. I don't know. I'm sitting up in my room playing Sega Genesis, stealing my grandpa's beers and sitting there and, and not really being able to imagine growing up and, having a family and having a career. Big things seemed financially out of reach. A house seemed out of reach when you're making, I don't know, 22,000 a year in the mall. I didn't think that I would do this. I couldn't imagine it. So I didn't really know how life was going to turn out. It was kind of, if you could like tune it in on a television, there was nothing. There was no, there was no picture. I didn't have the scenario in my head. I had no idea what I would be doing. And I don't think I sat around and thought, well, I'm never going to have kids, or I'm never going to get married, or I'm never going to have a good career. I don't think I thought that. I think I just thought nothing. I don't think I thought anything. I just went to the mall and worked and came home and had $40 left over. But I think a lot of kids are doing that. I mean, I thought more in the moment. I thought more in the present. I wasn't worried about what was going to happen when I was 30. I was worried about what was I doing tonight. It's Friday, it's Saturday night. Where are we going? What are we doing tonight? Do I have enough money to go out tonight? I think that's all I was thinking about. Yeah, there was no living for tomorrow. It was living for today. So I wasn't projecting. I didn't think. So has life turned out well? Yeah, of course. Great. I can't have my 2 kids, love them so much, and say life didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. That's impossible to say. So now sometimes I get caught up in what would have life been like if we go back to, 1985, the year of the divorce. What would life have been? Life would have been different. Life would have been absolutely different than it is today had my parents stayed together. But I would not have my children, as I've said before. I would not have the 2 children that I have today if my parents stayed together. I would never have met their mother. It just wouldn't have worked out that way. So, I don't know. I think I'd probably have a different career. I probably would have went to college right after high school. I probably would have stayed in the Catholic school with the same group of kids all the way to 8th grade, and we all would have went to another school. And the majority of the kids that I would have graduated 8th grade with all went on to a Catholic high school. And I probably would have went on to that same Catholic high school just to follow everybody. And then, I predict I would have done better in high school than I did. And I predict I would have probably gone to college right after high school. In fact, I might have gone with one of my friends. I remember, I think Howie went to North Carolina, or South Carolina, college in South Carolina. I might have pulled something like that, like, if we were still close, I would have, I'll go with you, let's go, let's go to school. I don't know. I don't know what the financial situation with my parents would have been. Would they have paid for me to go to college? Would I have had to stay local? I don't know. Life would have been different, but I can't think of that because if I do, the kids aren't in the picture, and we're not doing that. All right, so that's Blue Bonnet's questions. A lot of these got cut off, and I still didn't get a chance to print them. I'll answer, let's see. My man Upstate Johnny's got a few leftovers. He wants to know my favorite box art on an NES game. I like the simplicity of the first Mega Man, and pro wrestling will always be a favorite. Double Dragon will always be a favorite, and Punch Out. I used to love the Punch Out box. Just for nostalgia's sake, are they the greatest games or the greatest boxes of all time? Probably not, but I really, those are the ones. Ghosts and Goblins, probably just some of my first games still stick out. I mean, I have a Double Dragon box, and I have a Pro Wrestling box, a Nintendo box. So I might do something with those. I might try to put them maybe up where the Nintendo games are going. I don't know. And I'll show you around in a minute. He wants to know my favorite Yankee second baseman ever, and I really have to think about that. Was Soriano a second baseman? Was Alfonso a second baseman? Can't remember. No, he wasn't shortstop because Jeter was shortstop. I think Alfonso Soriano was second base. And if so, I'll say him. Favorite hair band of the 80s? Well, when I was a kid, I wasn't... I know you mean now, but I wasn't listening to hair bands back then. I was a Michael Jackson, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna kind of dork. I wasn't listening to hair bands. When I got satellite, there's a channel called Hair Nation, and all they do is play hair metal of the 80s. And so I got to listen to, as an adult, I got to listen to a lot of 80s hair metal bands for the first time ever and loved them. Absolutely loved them. Skid Row, I love. Yes, I do like Poison. I do like the ballads. Every rose has its thorn. That kind of thing. Whoever sings Sexy and 17 is a good one. Motley Crue is great. Wait, Sexy and 17, My Little Rock and Roll Queen. I don't think that's a hair band. There's, what's crazy, and there's a sidebar. A lot of 80s hair metal songs make me feel a little uncomfortable. Because there's a lot of talk about, I gotta adjust this. Sorry. There's a lot of talk about a lot of youngins, a lot of underage stuff. A lot of these 26, 27-year-old singers are talking about, yeah, I know you're only 16, kid, but you're coming with me, kind of deal. Well, listen to some of them. There's one that's just horribly uncomfortable. It's how's it go? I don't know. I can't even sing it. Show you love. No, I can't remember it. But all those guys were singing about, 16 and sexy, and I don't know what was going on back then, but unsavory happenings, I'm sure. Yeah, Skid Row, Motley Crue, Poison, those kind of deals. Thoughts on the Iron Claw trailer, and are you going to watch it? I don't have any thoughts on it. I've seen I haven't even really seen fully the trailer. Iron Claw I think it's a Netflix movie about the Von Erichs in World Class Championship Wrestling. And they got a lot of people to play the Von Erich kids, and a lot of actors, had to do some wrestling training to do the Von Erich. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of stuff that I probably should. Upstate Johnny sent me the documentary on the making of NHL 94, the Sega Genesis game. And of course I should be watching that, but I still haven't watched it yet. I still haven't watched it. I don't watch stuff I should watch. So I probably won't even watch the Iron Claw movie. You're less than an hour from the Canadian border. How do you not know what a fleur de lis? So when we were doing the Dino Bravo figure, he's got the armband thingies, and I didn't know what that design was. And apparently I'm supposed to, because I'm only an hour from the Canadian border. I'm sorry that I didn't know what that was. Hottest actress in a Friday the 13th film. Good one. I did like the twins. I did like the two twins. And something about, and I don't even prep for these because now I can't remember who's the girl in the first one who's dead, like in the first 5 minutes. She's the first kill, I think, of the movie. She's the girl that's walking through town and she catches the ride with the trucker, and she's on her way to camp. She never makes it. What the heck is her name in the movie? I don't know. She's just so cute. I don't know about hot, but she's so cute and sweet and giggly in the movie. I always was drawn to her. There's I don't know her. I don't know the name, but there is it's got to be part 5. I think it's Roy, where remember there's a house where like all these, not bad kids, but like it's kind of like a group home type of deal. And one of the girls is like this weird, like hippie, not hippie, but like this weird alternative kind of new age dancer girl. She's got like whitish blonde hair with like a black streak. And she's just doing this weird, like pop lock dancing. And she was so hot with the dancing. I thought she was pretty awesome. I don't remember her at all. I don't remember how she dies, but I dug her a lot. I thought she was cool. I'm not giving you any information. I can't remember the names. I can't remember anything, but the cute one from part 1, the weird dancer in part 5, the weird robot dancer. I don't know what she's doing. That kind of girl. And then the twins were pretty hot. And I told the twins they were hot. In fact, they autographed me. I told them, so it's Camille Moore and Carrie Moore, Terry and Tina. When I met them, I had told them, because, I have to ham it up with people. I said, look, I got this thing on the YouTube, and somebody asked me who I thought the hottest actresses were in Friday the 13th. I said, you guys, and they were all happy. And then they wrote in here, one of their inscriptions on their autograph was, "We are the hottest." And I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, they were all right. They were all right. My main man, Mike D. Mike D asks the question. He says, "Can you please do another episode with you and Mrs. TN80sR? Y'all were so cute together." And then he says, "Before you say heck no," and then he gives me some reasons why he thinks it would be good for us to do another show. Will I do one with the children's mother? I don't know. I would, the needle's kind of leaning towards nah. It's just so unpredictable in this house. It's so, every day is like a crapshoot, how people are going to react to the children, what kind of mood people are going to be in. It's hard. This is the most inconsistent home ever. And I think you need some consistency to be in a good enough mood to invite somebody down to be playful and have a nice, we don't have that. There's no playfulness, in the house. It's all, I don't know. It's all business, and it's all like, one of us is always angry, and it's not me. And it's hard to deal, it's hard to work with somebody who's always angry. Granted, she's home with the kids all day and they're not easy, but I can't work with constant anger, so I'm just like, I don't need this. So probably not, Mike D. And I appreciate what you're doing, what you're trying to do. Such a good guy. We'll do more. We'll do a bunch more before the trip. I'll probably upload one, at some time next week. We'll do a bunch of other shows. while I'm gone. And then when I'm back, we'll just slide right into the new year. Subscriber counts are still averaging about 65, 75 new subscribers a month. With that kind of math, we could hit 5,000 by the end of the year, by the end of next year, which is crazy. 5,000 subscribers, that's nothing in the YouTube world, but everything in my world. So that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. We'll see y'all next time. Good night.